Hello, hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Lotus, Lotus the Sage. Thanks so much for your time. So today we have another pick a card as usual, and today's pick a card is going to be what are your temptations and your impulses and how to use them in a positive way. When I was thinking about what the next reading would be for you guys, I was originally labeling this reading how to avert your temptations. So before I went into doing the reading for myself, I did a meditation as usual, and the message of Spirit was giving me was like, these temptations are nothing to be avoided or nothing to be feared, so why do you want to avert them? That's what Spirit was telling me, and I was like, good point. So then what is this reading about? And this is what we've come up with, Spirit and I together. So it's going to be pretty in-depth, fairly deep, and pretty blunt, I'm going to assume, based on how they deliver the messages to me. So we're going to look at your process, what to stay mindful of, if you do falter, what to stay mindful of, what your actual temptations or impulses may be currently in this time frame of your life. We'll obviously get some guidance for you and make you feel empowered and confident to move forward and towards these temptations, impulses that might be viewed in a different perspective. So Spirit's trying to give you another perspective on how to view these temptations and impulses. So with that earful, for pile 1, you have your heart. It's going to be your option to pick, your heart. Interesting. These were all picked at random. It was the first 3 that came into my hands. Dreams for pile 2. And why not for pile 3? So take a second, think about what some of your impulses or temptations might be currently or have been in your past, however you want to view this, and see which pile might be drawing your attention the most, and I will see you at that choice. Ciao. Okay, my collective of pile 1 who chose your heart, we're going to spread out your cards. Okay, my collective of pile 1, let us get into your messages and see what are your temptations, my pile 1. Let's see what Spirit wants to let us know today. So we have Joni Mitchell. And she says, learn to write in your own blood. Some things need confessing, others are better left unsaid. Never lose sight of the miraculous. Then we have, I'm going to flip them all over first before I say anything. Then we have Keith Richards. Be your own impersonator. Never be accused of anything you haven't already confessed to. Laugh at your own darkness. So what I'm getting first, energetically speaking here, from Joni and Keith, if these are representative of your temptations and your impulses, or some of them at least, Spirits ask, again, how we're using these temptations in a positive way, or how to hone these temptations and use that energy in a productive manner. So learn to write in your own blood is really about, for me, authenticity, expressing that authenticity, and vowing and devoting to yourself, being devout to yourself. And always trying, at least, to look on the positive side and look at the gifts that are continuously available to you. There is a really heavy emphasis on authenticity and originality, your own individual uniqueness. Allowing yourself to stand up for your quirks, your idiosyncrasies, and to embrace your shadow. So the temptations, the temptations might be for you is to not stand in your truth, to be easily swayed possibly, to allow yourself to take the blame for others just to avoid a confrontation. It can be about building a stronger character or a healthier backbone so that one can defend oneself verbally, mentally, physically, however this may translate. They're saying embrace your awkwardness. It's a phrase I use very often. And they just said, do not humble your power. That's interesting. Okay, let's see what else you got. Then the heart. They just said, you allow, speaking of, I just realized you have your heart. Let's put that right here then. Spirit just said, you allow yourself in moments to be too far emotionally swayed that it pulls you out of your own sovereignty. And this heart energy, they're saying, I can't think of a better word at the moment, to safeguard your sacredness, your sacred space, which is your heart. They do not want you to be trampled on, but they also don't want your heart to harden. So cocoon it in my loving embrace and feel my warmth. That's how that message was delivered to you. The heaviest emphasis for you, my lovelies, as I'm getting right now, when it comes to your temptations or the impulses of sacrificing in some way yourself for others more often than you should, is what I'm feeling from Spirit. It's a guarding of the heart, but remaining open and loving. It's honoring oneself and being very aware of one's own awkwardness, shadows, darkness, and not being afraid to wear your heart on your sleeve. This is what this is about. There's something about vulnerability and your heart, but definitely they were emphasizing, I do not want your heart to harden or be jaded by external influences because you are so gentle. So learn to write in your own blood and be your own best impersonator. Remember what needs to be confessed, what things need to be left unsaid. Don't take the blame for anything that's not yours. Never lose sight of what is beautiful and miraculous in front of you, and honor your shadow. Let's see what the tea leaf has to add over Joni Mitchell. We have the sun, happiness and well-being. That authenticity, right? Writing in your blood. Never lose sight of the miraculous. For tea leaf, you have the beetle, good fortune. Stay in that heart space. Don't let that dwindle. And for Keith Richards, never be accused. They keep bringing me back to that second and third line. Never be accused of anything you haven't already confessed to. And I feel like it's not like withholding information per se, but it definitely can be. It can be a sense of withholding your emotional information, holding that in your heart and just taking it on. It can also be, like I said, of taking the blame or just taking the fall or taking the brunt of it just because. And they're saying too that when you get to this point of realization for you about what that is for you in your life or how you might be using these particular impulses of your character, you will begin to laugh at this part of you. You will. But there is a process right now that's not finished, I suppose. I don't know. Peacock, beware of great pride. Maybe that's a part of it. I don't think it's like so much pride in the sense of it. No, it can be pride. Sorry. Spirit's like, no, Lotus, you're wrong. They're like, yeah, it can be pride because of stubbornness, in other words. They said stubbornness to release certain cyclical patterns of your nature. They said because you do not like or want to be disliked. This is something you must confront. Which is back to the heart. Interesting. Wow, okay. So let's see, my pile one, how this process is playing out for you, or how it will play out for you. So first we have cutting cords. Interesting. And that's the same thing that we've talked about, right? Cutting cords of what I just felt over here, of the part of you, that cyclical part of your nature that you're not willing or wanting or able or feel like you're strong enough to let go of for whatever the reason. But there is an ask of you, Spirit, especially with the beginning card of your process, to start to cut this out. And hence, this is what we're talking about, right? Combating or confronting, I should say, the temptations and your impulses and using them in a positive way. So Spirit right now is emphasizing for your beginning process, or from wherever you are when you're watching this, should be the beginning part of the process for you. Releasing of the old, allowing new things to nurture, preserving that heart energy, you know, seeing the truth in matters so that you can release what is no longer working to push you in the direction your heart really wants to go. Okay. Then we have, woo, the unknown card in this deck in the reverse. So it's like, okay, sorry, let me flip them all over first. Spirit said Seven of Swords. Uselessness. Woo. Then we have Eight of Cups, failure in the reverse. Then we have Three of Cups, overflowing in the reverse. Then we have Son of Wands, charisma, which is the Page of Wands, if I'm not mistaken. So what I'm getting here, my beautiful collective, if we're talking about cutting cords in the beginning of your process, and you come out with the blank card in the reverse, which is extra for me, it's almost like getting tossed into the wind and be like, good luck! Like, that's exactly what it feels like. I'm sure this is not funny, but I'm sorry. Like, the visuals I get sometimes are I watch a lot of animation and they're very animated. So I literally got shown a cartoon character being tossed into a tornado and being thrown out somewhere else. And they're like, in not knowing what's going on, I don't feel fearful, or else I would have felt like a little bit more hectic. It feels freeing, unsure, unsettled, but I don't feel fear. Let me put it that way. But the Seven of Swords that comes out next with this uselessness, and you have all these beautiful planetary energies that are around, and this is about the mind. Your mind, your luck, your action, your lessons and discipline, your emotions. Aquarius might be significant for you in particular. The letter G also might be significant. You might be feeling, I should say, like this, like useless. You know, like, what do I do with this? What can I do with this? I don't even know how to use this energy. Excuse me. How am I supposed to figure out how to do this? How do I cut this particular part of me? How do I? That's what I'm feeling, and this is what's making you possibly feel useless, especially with this unknown before and the cutting of cords. It's like, how do I use all of these swords? Maybe there's 7 things or 7 parts of you that you need to cut. Maybe it's been like a 7-month period of a certain type of thing, or a week, the last week they're also giving me, excuse me. So in this deck, you can see some extra symbology that they have here, which is the Aquarius, the moon, and then you have I think it's number 36 hexagram. I'm going to double check. But I'm going to read what the messages for this hexagram in particular is, and it says censorship. And maybe this is what it is, censoring yourself, needing to censor your environment, censoring your thoughts in particular. The hexagram, or adding to the Seven of Swords, information is being censored or withheld from you. You simply do not know everything you need to know. People close to you will pressure you to make a hasty decision. They know you do not have all the information. When the mystery is lifted, you are extremely relieved. Do not share all the information you have. Stay guarded, but seek the truth. So people might be throwing things at you that might be throwing you off your game, making you feel extra useless or making you feel like you don't know what the heck you're doing. But Spirit is here to tell you this is a part of the process. Do not let those energies affect you. Again, authenticity for self. The Eight of Cups in the reverse, talking about failure. You're not going to fail at this process. So don't allow these things to sabotage your movement. We also have Pisces here with Jupiter, and the letter S might be significant here. So fortune on your favor, in my particular opinion, is about fortune, about going into your depths, expansion, about understanding who and what you are and exactly what it is that you may have failed to do in the past. I'm going to also look up this hexagram for you too. So the hexagram in this one is number 41, and it represents the decline. So do not pursue selfish goals at this time. You will suffer a setback before you recover. Be simple in your approach. This is a time to economize. Do not spend recklessly. This is not a time to gamble. So it being in the reverse, let's just flip those energies. It is definitely a time to pursue your goals. You will not suffer a setback, and you will recover. And you will be victorious. Be simple in your approach. Don't be simple in your approach. In other words, this is a time to economize. Maybe this is still a time to economize, I can't lie. Do not spend recklessly. This is not a time to gamble. I feel like you need to gamble. You might need to be a little reckless. I feel like this whole energy is about this reckless energy for you. So I think they're asking you to embrace this energy that they're providing for this chaos, this disruption, to cut these cords, to allow the recognition of the depths of what needs to be changed or what needs to be recognized or confronted within self. And then with this Three of Cups, with this hexagram, and there, and you have Cancer with Mercury, is that right? Cancer with Mercury. So emotional communication again. This is in the reverse, right? And overflowing. So it feels like there is a lack of that emotional communication, a lack of that community, reciprocity, environment, healthy environment. The letter N might be significant for you. And this hexagram is number 28, and it is critical mass. News comes to you from an unexpected source. Take heed. Your own thoughts are off base. Listen to the wise counsel of those you trust. Go outside yourself to find the answer. Look at many different options and anticipate potential problems. Make a plan A that if goes wrong, go to plan B and then plan C. If necessary, be alert to how people can help you. The experience of others is a benefit. So again, if this energy is being in the reverse, it is asking a sense of, again, you cannot rely on anybody at this moment to give you, because again, you don't have all the information yet, and they may use that against you to sort of thwart you from your actual progress, not necessarily deliberately or consciously for that matter. It's just the energy of the environment or what you're around. So they're saying, do not allow that to happen. Allow yourself to work with self, with source, with spirit, with heart. That brings you into the Sun of Wands, which is this beautiful Page of Wands, this newness, this vitality, this gusto for life, this energy to move forward. You may have green or blue eyes. The answers to this process lies in the future for you in particular. So the letters that we said again were G, S, and N. Might be very significant. Let's see where this future process leads you to. Cleansing portal, boom. They just said you enter the cave of yourself and you exit renewed. To add in with the cleansing portal, to add in with the cutting cords, just a reminder of reclaiming your power by lovingly severing the things that are keeping you stuck. So this cleansing portal, after you're going through this process, cleansing, removing, understanding, diving deep, recognition, understanding, emerging into this cleansed portal, this cleansed version of you, in other words. And the fear of the discomfort or the pain that you will probably encounter in this process, is just to remind yourself to have the courage. You have the courage, excuse me, you have the ability, you have everything you need. Just have the courage to complete it, to see it, to look at it, to observe it, to jump in and trust the outcome. Because new beginnings want to start for you, especially when it comes to matters of this particular temptation or impulses or views of limitations. So that's your process, my lovely. It feels like a whirlwind of emotions, abso-freaking-lutely. But it is a process that needs to be had, and it feels like, again, there is no failure. You will come out cleansed and renewed. So allow the shadow, laugh at your darkness, like Keith Richards, you know? Laugh at what has kept you stuck and embrace it. A little bit of that, I'm getting like, delirious insanity, you know, this it's like a delirium that's like, okay, fuck it, that's just what's happening, and you're just giggling and laughing at so many misfortunes. That's what it feels like, that the misfortunes no longer sit with you. In other words, they start to roll off of you, and I think this is a part of what you're trying to integrate. Spirit is trying to integrate with you, for you. Release what no longer needs to be in your heart and walk your own path. Wow, my beautiful collective. Let's see then. Wow, that was a lot. Let's see what to stay mindful of in this process of you. 5 of Air. Don't forget, excuse me, they said, are you allowing yourself to see the true you? Can you remove the mask of your previous self? Of your previous beliefs? Can you honor the sacred within? Can you allow this transformation to begin? Can you gently caress the parts of you that need to be held? Can you allow yourself to drop your illusions? Can you allow the self-sabotage to stop? Can you reflect the self-deception? Can you deflect, excuse me, the self-deception? The criticism, your past conditioning? Can you heal those parts of yourself? The conflict between your reality and the belief? Can you face the pain of this reality or of this emotion, of this hurt in the heart in some way? Can you forgive others for wearing their masks? It's a time for honest reflection. That's what's to be mindful of. Let's see what other energies are surrounding this. You have medium or dark hair. That can be you, my friends. Just a reminder to you, an extra confirmation and cartomacy. Beautiful, as you're here for. So I feel like everything we talked about with this beautiful energy here with the 5 of Air, this energy of this dark-haired, medium or dark hair might be you, my viewer, or could have something to do with the energies that are involved in this. And cartomacy, again, tarot readings, maybe you do those, maybe you pull a card daily, maybe that's what they're asking for. If you get flustered or needing to calm down, maybe just pull a daily card for you to get centered and grounded on that particular energy. That's what I'm also getting. Let's see, if you do falter, when you falter, I should say, because we all will, because this going into the darkness shadow it's a hard process. So what are they asking you to stay mindful of if you do falter? The 6 of Water in the reverse. This card always reminds me of vanity in the upright, of that narcissist. Is that the right one? Or Dorian Gray? That was so obsessed with his reflection that, you know. So it feels like if that's the first energetic imprint they're giving me with this card in the reverse, and it's excuse me, that's the energy I get with the card upright. It's saying that there is oh wow, okay, excuse me, I was gonna say something else. Spirit has corrected me. What I'm getting here is there is more of a need for that selfishness, that self-focused, that back to self, looking back at oneself in the mirror, the reflections of others also. How are we viewing ourselves? Is that what has thrown you off? This is what this energy is, right? If you get thrown off, to be mindful of. Has that been what's throwing you off? Is that what you're looking at? Is that what your focus has been, and that's why it's throwing you off? That you're not enough, that you can't get through this, that you will fail, that there's nobody here to support me, I don't know what the F I'm doing. You know, will those thoughts propel you into that? Possibly. This is the reminder. Don't stay there. Excuse me, I said 6 of water, it's 4 of water. So Spirit's asking you to remind yourself of your confidence, your self-acceptance, like we said, forgiving, self-belief. Remind yourself that you're deserving. You are beautiful. Mistakes are an opportunity to learn. Remember the emotional costs of your actions. How does your actions and your thoughts put you in this spiral of self-defeat? Love yourself for who you are. Beautiful. All right, my collective, let us see your closing messages. So, first is your advice. It says, I forgive myself for thinking I need to be right and making others wrong in the process. Sorry. I choose to believe that what is right for me may not be what's right for another, as we all differ in the essential exploration and expression of the self. And you need to remember that too. What is right for me, for thinking that you need to be right and making others wrong in the process. I don't think necessarily that's it, but it applies to you, feeling like that you're wrong and others are right. That's what I'm also getting. There's a sense of that feeling, the opposite of what they're sort of here. Forgive yourself for thinking that you're wrong and that others are right. That's what I'm feeling from your energy. And they want you to believe that what is right for you may not suit what you've been around, the energies you've been around, the people you've been around, hence this cutting of cords. The self-expression and exploration of the self is what is needed. It feels, again, it does feel like a sense of, again, we talked about this confining or encapsulate or protect the heart, right? Something about that energy. And let's see what your help is. From the I Ching, it says confined, number 47. Can you stick to your purpose when there is no external encouragement or confirmation? No outward signs of progress does not mean you or the world are wrong. Exactly what I was saying here. Concentrate on your inner growth within the confinement. Don't place too much value on words. That's what's coming up in here in the 7 of Swords. They are not trustworthy enough to give you a way out. Go into the feeling. That's what they kept talking about, into the heart space. What if you could only rely on yourself? That authenticity, that sovereignty. Who are you when you are alone? That's the person that they want to emerge, coming out of this cleansed portal with this beautiful charisma. Woo! Pile 1. Okay, your dragon messages. You have magic and manifestation. Brilliant. It's the only card in this deck that has 2 dragons. It's sort of the twin flames of the dragons, or the union, the soul union of sorts, the recognition of the other soul or the other of your partner, the yin to your yang. All right, let's see what the dragons have to say from the book. The message to you today is, from the dragons, we have danced into your consciousness to reassure you that the worst is now behind you. Your journey has been a long and arduous one at times. Now look to the future and embrace what is to come. Be sure and clear in your intentions when invoking our presence. For we are the alchemists. Is what you're asking for what you truly desire? Will it serve and benefit your highest purpose? Call upon us when you want things to swoop into your life. We are here to help you turn your dreams into reality, change your world, and support you as you undertake your journey. Look deep inside and ask what it is you really want. Once you are clear about your choices, we will assist you in achieving them. And this is what they're wanting you to do, right? They want to bring this magic and manifestation, but you need to do this work for them to do their work. You know, a part of the formula isn't complete yet. They need that ingredient, so to speak. Ooh, and I forgot about these energies here. I was so excited. Damn. My apologies. Holy cow. Okay, stuff to be mindful of with this energy. You have beauty and fashion. They're talking about pampering yourself. You are beautiful. The same thing. Honor who you are, what you are. Love yourself and nurture yourself. Nurture, pamper, beauty. Exactly. When things get off, come back to the self and fill that in for you, you know? Fully self-pampering. It just added to the messages. I'm sorry, I forgot. I was too excited. Okay, okay, so your guidance from Spirit. After all this has been integrated, what you've recognized, what you will gain, maybe it's help when you're in the process or when you stumble. Either way, this is what Spirit's message is for you. Earth healing, that's what's happening, my lovely. Talk about nurturing the self from the ground up, inside out. You're being gifted with this healing. This is a particular gift. They're also bringing up childhood traumas and wounds. This may go farther back than I was feeling right here. But you would probably find that as soon as you were to dive deep, to be fair. And this is what it's feeling like it's bringing me to. So your earth healing messages to close off your reading, my collective. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful. You are making a real contribution to the planet through your spiritual journey. Remember this and believe that your needs will be generously met by the earth and universe. What you are doing matters and you will be supported. Through unconditional love, I accept. I accept, you know, take on this challenge, my beautiful collective of Pile 1, because this is not easy. Do not get me wrong. I am not trying to make light of how this is going to feel, but I'm feeling the full rainbow or spectrum of your journey in this particular area of temptation and impulses. That this is a necessary part for you to get to really combat this and cut these cords, to let it go, to come out renewed. I'm feeling this so fresh. You'll get through this, my lovelies. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know. Leave it a like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments. I would love to read about this and how this connected for you. I'm sending you so much love. Until next time, keep watering your lives. Ciao. Welcome, my pal 2 who chose dreams. You're gonna spread out your cards. Okay, my collective of pile 2, let's see what your temptations or limitations actually are, or what they want to bring up anyways. Beyonce. She says, confidence can be the most powerful aphrodisiac. Be both everywhere and nowhere at once. When someone sings from the heart, don't go tone deaf. I'm gonna flip them all over first, and then we'll get into your messages. And Billie Holiday. She says, if you're going to play with your whole soul. You are no understudy. Sorry, you have no understudy. Sometimes losing beats winning. There seems to be a theme that's happening in pile 1 and 2 thus far. It could be a collective message. I haven't done pile 3. But the connecting message, I would say, is about self. And yours comes in the sense of confidence in self, in one's abilities. I'm also hearing in one's appearance, in one's capabilities. So your temptations or your they said limitations. Your temptations and your impulses might feel tied to limitations. Not having enough confidence within self. Having a deep sense of FOMO, of either not feeling or being heard or being seen. of doing things half-heartedly sometimes because of the emotional weight of things, of reminding yourself to be and embrace who you are. And sometimes when things don't work out for you, it is actually better than if it would have. Because there's a belief system about self that needs to get confronted. So I'm also feeling here a sense that your temptations might be trigger warning. Spirit is saying that you might be trying to live and please people above your means. You may not allow yourself to be seen fully because you are insecure of judgments. You might over present or overact in a way that people are believing that this is the version or the real or the whole essence of you in some degree. Spirit is saying there's a shying away from your true power that is clouding the reality of your actual power. Wow. Okay, let's see what this archetype has to add. The vessel. Yeah, it's about that self, right? That nurturing, that container within. What are you feeding it? How is it getting filled? What lights you up? What empties you up? I really do feel like it's about how you look at yourself, how you see yourself, how you present yourself, what you believe about yourself, and what you don't believe about yourself. So the temptation to belittle, to lower, to criticize, that's what they want you to really look at. How do we use this in a positive way? This confidence can be a powerful aphrodisiac, so use that. And if you're gonna play, do it full and wholeheartedly, and that's with self. If you're gonna play this life, play this role as human, do it wholeheartedly. Be both everywhere and nowhere at the same time, being present and connected at the same time, being able to detach with a loving ease. And that's also ties into sometimes losing beats winning. You know, detaching from something that would have clogged up this vessel in some way or clouded it even more. Let's see what the tea leaves have to add. Over Beyonce tree. Affairs with your family. Cat, a two-faced friend. Over the vessel. And December over Billie Holiday. So what I'm getting here, my collective, is there's a regeneration phase of your life currently when it comes to uprooting who you are. Like the core essence or the core roots of where you sprouted from, in other words, that can come back to family ties, way of upbringing, certain conversations that were had and held and stuck that have now become a particular dialogue in the way that you view yourself. The two-faced friend, I'm getting two energies from. I'm getting you being two-faced to yourself. That's what I'm also feeling. And we were talking about keeping up somewhat with like appearances or overexpending out of your means, or the persona, your personality is actually hiding your true power. But all of that, the people who are around you, who's feeding you, how you're feeding your own thoughts. And I do feel like Spirit's saying you're going into, if you haven't already, into the winter phase of this particular lesson. Hence, when I'm filming this is in November, we are moving into December, so they can have something to do with the next month, where the bulk of this will come to the surface more. So I think this is a preemptive kind of reading for you in particular, 𝒨𝑒𝓠, to some degree. I don't think you can fully avoid it, but it definitely can be handled better once you're forewarned, in other words. They're asking you also how to recognize the people who have been two-faced and very cold to you, that are not family, meaning not necessarily blood. I mean, they don't feel like family. There's no home there. There's no strength, stability, nurturing. There's no longevity there, in other words. There's something about the recognition of you through this particular sequence of events. Wow, okay, let's see what this process is for you, what it's going to look like, or what it might look like, or how you might encounter it, etc. So the beginning of this process here is selfhood. Yep. Absolutely. We've been talking about this from the beginning, right? The selfhood of confidence, of emerging fully you know, this embracing all aspects of yourself, the beauty of you, the confidence of you, your capabilities, abilities, all the things we talked about. And this is technically a doorway, another opening, a portal. It's a doorway of powerful initiations. You're ready to take on this something new, which will bring in many blessings for you. It will transmute the energies, expand what you haven't been able to expand prior, and that's within the self. And that's that acknowledgement, that confidence, you know? And again, nurturing the heart, blossoming from the true essence of who you are. That phoenix rising, clarification, that cleansing. Okay, let's see what the tarot has to add. 9 of Cups, fortune. Sorry, Daughter of Swords, confidence, which is the Knight of Swords. 6 of Stones, success, 6 of Pentacles in the reverse. 4 of Wands, perfection. And 8 of Swords, interference in the reverse. Okay, my collective, so what I'm getting here is selfhood, this initiation into the self. There is going to be great fortune. Your wish will be, a wish will be satisfied, granted, fulfilled. And I feel like this is an internal, like a deep internal wish to combat this part of yourself in some way, to address this limiting belief. Pisces and Jupiter is significant here. The letter T also might be significant. So diving into the depths, emotionally being gifted what's a deep wish, emotional desire, and want. So they have an I Ching hexagram at the top of this 9 of Cups here, and it stands for number 42 and its benefit. Possibilities open up, romantic feelings increase, and the opportunity for romance presents itself. You'll be required to give from your own personal resources. Electricity is in the air. Be ready for applause. Repeat the law of leadership. To rule is to serve. And that's it. To rule over yourself is to serve the self. This is what Spirit is bringing in for you. And this confidence, this is what we've been talking about, this daughter of confidence. You know, saying yes to this energy, saying yes to this force, this mental change, this addressing of the self, this reflection of self that leads you into a possibility of an imbalance because you are shifting your paradigm, in other words. You know, you are altering what has been and what has been out of balance for you to actually find your own success instead of relying on the external factors to validate you in some way. You know, which is that confidence that was lacking, that success within self. So this is what you're doing. You're trying to find this confidence. This will give you some sort of upheaval and bring you out of balance for you to find that perfection and balance again within the self with the 4 of Wands over here. But the 6 of Stones also has a hexagram for you. There's a lot of emotional energy behind this particular 6 of Pentacles. The letter Q and U could be significant also. The planets that are in this particular deck are the Moon, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury. I think that's supposed to be the sun also. So lessons and luck, love and expansion, clarity of your emotions. You know, this is what will be all up in the upheaval of things for you to get that transition underway or that transmutation integrated. The hexagram for you is number 55 on this one, and it says abundance. Act now. The seeds you have planted in the past will now produce their bounty. Again, this is in the reverse. So the seeds that were planted in the past can no longer produce this sort of bounty is what I'm getting from this. If taking a journey is required, then figure out a way to stay where you are and solve the problem long distance. This now talks about you cannot stay where you are. You cannot solve the problem from where the problem was created. Hence this disruption, this upheaval is necessary. Excuse me. You also have the glyph of Taurus in this energy of again about gaining that stability and grounding that energy. Success is staring at you in the face. Don't turn your head away or you'll miss it. Use this energy to continue to build in your abundance. And this is the abundance of self, the abundance of this understanding. Again, that leads you into this Four of Wands, this protection energy, with that Aries and Venus energy, that fire in that love sector or the love for self. This can be love. I really does feel like love for self first, so that any other external love can just easily flow into your life. So you have a lot of letters in this particular reading for you. Like I said, you have a T, you have a D, you have a Q, you have a U. And this balanced stability, this grounded, passionate, creative life force, this understanding of self, the alignment of the elements within. This hexagram over here is after completion. Fortify yourself against what is coming for you. Events and energies are moving against you. Make your castle strong. Protect yourself. Bad news is on the way. Remember what is truly important in life. Get rid of what is weighing you down. Keep only what is needed and essential. Do not hold on to the illusion that everything is well. Ooh, this is interesting. That gave an extra layer here. And this is talking about what's being released, right? Letting go of the things that you thought may have been working, finding the true perfection within self, grounding and understanding that energy that leads you into no more interference with your own thoughts and mind. You have Gemini and Jupiter over here also, the letter H. There's also a really big sense of like a domino effect is what I'm feeling. Of like if you were to pull one of these threads or the domino or knock one over, the whole thing will start to reveal the pattern or reveal the picture, or it will start to unravel in some way. There's something about, there's one particular thought, and I really do feel like it has more to do with self-confidence, self-awareness, self-acceptance. If you can pull that particular thread, the rest of this will just like crumble in the best way possible, meaning the fastest way there is what I feel. Instead of playing Jenga, like you're trying to knock over them all, you know, instead of trying to keep that off-kiltered tower in check. And the hexagram on the Eight of Swords talks about reform. By talking too much, you may have given away your position. Someone who does not possess the abilities you have is going to make a move against you. Interference is present between you and your goals. Your plans for the future are in jeopardy, and they are no longer because it's in the reversed. You're not talking too much because you've been in this self-reflective mode. You're not giving your position away because you are understanding the value of self and the value of privacy also. Someone who doesn't have the abilities won't be able to interfere with you any longer, or whomever this two-faced person or people may be in your life will not be a contender at all anymore. And your plans for the future will no longer be in jeopardy once these energies are relieved or combated or confronted, which is that temptation within yourself to succumb to those feelings. You know, the impulses within you to please others before yourself in some degree. So where does this energy lead to? What do we have? Do we have any swords? We have a yes here, that you will get through this process very smooth. Not smooth. It feels smooth in all fairness. Like, I know that the environment might not be smooth, but I feel like your actual process is smooth. Yeah, open Queen of Hearts. I'm telling you, you come out like, oh, I got this now. You come out actually like the Queen Bee, like that Beyonce vibe, which is the essence that you've been trying to emulate in some way. And it's been pretend, and it's been like almost you've been in the too long of the to fake it till you make it. Because the belief hasn't been there, or the willpower to get to that truly within self hasn't been there. So the faking process has taken too long, and now it is clouding, like we said, the actual true essence of your power. This whole process gets you into that Queen of Hearts energy, which is the empowerment of self. And you will be able to now like stop and take that moment to open up your senses and feel what's going on, so you can really adjust. You know, it's like the clarity that comes in. They'd be like, ooh, I know what's happening now. Now I can move. Now I can take this out, or remove this person, or come over here, or start focusing on this. The benevolence of your heart begins to expand, is what I feel. Even more so, and even more back into self, like expanding back into the self. It's beautiful. Oh, I love it. Wow, okay, 𝒨𝒨, let's see what's to stay mindful of as you're going through this process here. The Two of Air. The duality within. Embracing both sides of yourself, the shadow and the light, aligning both, balancing both, honoring both. And honoring when your mind starts to play tricks on you when it comes to the self-talk. Trying to embrace the polarity and the duality, of course, within you, the unity, the dichotomy of the situation, meaning like the opposites of maybe what's happening and then what's happening within self. The choice, what is the big picture? What is this for, you know? And a reminder that everything has an opposite, especially in this third density. Duality divides and separates. Polarity unites and integrates. Embrace your open mind. Embrace the open mind of this process. And a reminder that sometimes both parties can be right. Lovely. What other influences are here? Fair complexion, which is, I feel, possibly my viewer or energies involved, and an earth sign. So what to stay mindful of is your thought processes in particular. I feel like this is just representing you, regardless of your complexion is fair. Fair complexion means not just what's shown here. It can be whatever tone of skin tone you are for your shade. You're probably on the lighter shade. So I'm considered like in between. I'm not necessarily light skin, you know? That's just to give you an example of what I mean by fair skin. Just as an example. And then the earth sign really comes to me when we're talking about duality and polarity and of the mind, how you're thinking about it. It's reminding me of staying grounded, getting earthed. Getting earthed, I don't know what that is, but staying grounded and letting Gaia heal you, in other words. You know, releasing the tensions of the mind into the earth. That's what I'm feeling. And I'm hearing like speak it out, like speak it to the plants, speak it to the trees, like speak to them for real. When you get too consumed with what's happening in your mind and you don't sit in the body, that's what might to be mindful of too. Okay, so when and if you do falter, what to stay mindful of? The Nine of Water. This Nine of Water is so beautiful. It really does give me an essence of the emergence and the cleansing of you. It's like a clear slate. It's like a baptism. That's the energy I'm getting. A baptism. It's that cleansing, clearing out, gratitude, emergence of the new you. But there is a self-acceptance in this of one's own beauty, emotional character, what one desires, how one views oneself, what one wishes and wants for themselves. Similar energy, right? That Nine of Cups, Nine of Water, but different. It's the illumination of the self. Remove the emotional hurts. Wherever you got, remove the emotional ties that are keeping you stuck. Remove the hurts and the hooks from your heart. The self-acceptance and awareness of the self. Remove the past. Let go of those energies. Especially when you're finding yourself faltering. That's what's happening. The emotions are getting overwhelmed again. So come back to the earth. Sorry, when I'm in it, I'm not even paying attention to the camera at all. So apologies. Then you have sports and fitness. Okay. They're giving me an energy of like activity also. So before I get to the other card, this here is what to be mindful of when you're, when you're in this trying to balance out, probably like when this comes out of balance. Like, what do I do when my head's a little bit like, what's happening? It's asking you to ground, get into earth, nature. When and if you do falter, when you come back into this spirally thoughts or the cycle of, am I doing this right? Can I get through this? Because we all have those moments. They're actually talking about activity and physical exercise, talking about endorphins, serotonin, that kind of energy, like get physical, or maybe specifically get into water. Yeah, petite. It feels like exercise, to be honest. Like it just feels like exercise. Yeah, to release some of those energies to get you out of that feeling or that thought process is what I'm feeling here. If you get stuck again, just remember that. Just go do some exercise, go swim, do some laps, run, go for a hike, something. Beautiful. Let's see what your advice is, my beautiful collective of pile 2. I forgive myself for putting my own desires on hold in order to pursue those which belong to people who are important to me. Like I said, these two-faced people, trying to keep up in some way, they're important to you, so you put yourself aside. Again, this confidence, I'm telling you, there's something about that. You forgive yourself for that. I choose to believe that when I advocate for my own desires, I gain access to a deeper love to be explored and to be shared. Abso-freaking-lutely. Be the advocate for yourself, and this is what you're going to do with this helpful that allows you to come out as a Queen of Hearts. Lovely. Clarity, number 30. This is your help. Constancy bears fruit. Nurture your capacity to see and nourish new insights. Flashes of meaning bring clarity and lasting awareness, enabling you to see signs and messages all around you. Reserves of strength that sustain mindfulness, along with a quiet willingness for the power to be used and guided. What do you see? What does it mean? How can you nourish and sustain a high level of awareness of self? And this is what you're learning. This is why this has to come up unbalanced or blocked, or however you want to look at reversal energies. Why you need to find the perfection within your own self, which again, you are already perfect, so it's just honoring that perfection that is source created within you. No longer interfering with your own thoughts or people interfering with your strength and your confidence. Really, really finding the self. I love this. Okay, your dragon support. Courage. Holy moly. Talk about courage, confidence. Like this is, the whole thing has been about for you, my beautifuls. Let's see what courage has to give to us in these messages today. Courage says, she says, you are safe. It's fine to be strong and vulnerable at the same time. You're capable of a great many things, and it's time to acknowledge them and believe in yourself. Your depth of character is your ally. Your ability and tenacity are your anchors. Now is the time to own them. Be brave and stand tall. You got this. You are far braver than you give yourself credit for. If you find your courage failing and your self-doubt taking over, that's what we talked about. Call upon courage until you find your feet. She will guide you through any challenging situation and support your self-belief. All you have to do is ask. Call on courage. Call on your own courage. Call on Spirit's courage. Call on this beautiful dragon's courage. They want to give this to you. They want you to feel what this feels like to really be comfortable in one's own skin, in one's own body, in one's own mind. Your final guidance, like what this accomplishes, what this might lead you to, maybe just some helpful advice while you're in it. We'll see what comes up. Wow, didn't I say paradigm shift? Absolutely, that's exactly what's happening. You are shifting your own personal paradigm into the one of this Queen of Hearts, into that self-belief, into this courage energy, into nurturing that vessel, into becoming that full confidence, confident self. I love that. And your final closing messages, my beautiful collective, I hope this was helpful and you enjoyed. It says, you are undergoing radical growth in your belief systems. Yep. Now is the time to challenge old attitudes and question previous expectations. Yep. You are in an extraordinary time. Great leaps forward can be made in a moment. Yeah, like I was talking about that thread, right? It just crumbles. It's so much quicker. The world you thought you knew can suddenly break open, and a new world can become your reality. Yes, please. Yes, please. Let this be your new reality. Let you feel this confidence. Step into this beautiful, authentic, powerful person and being that you are. Recognize your courage, your confidence, your beauty, your love, your capabilities, your ability, your tenacity. Recognize all of it, because Spirit wants this for you. I want this for you. I want this dream to come true. Exactly, this paradigm shift, this dream to come true. Come on, Pal2, get it. I'm sending you so much love. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. That'd be amazing. I'd love to hear about how this may resonate for you or how it may have played into your life. Sending you so much love. Until next time. Ciao. Welcome, my pal 3 who chose why not. Let's spread out your cards. Okay, my collective of pile 3, let's see what your temptations or impulses might be, or what they want to address anyway for you. You have Johnny Cash. He says, making the right enemies is as important as making the right friends. Heaven or hell is up to you. Darkness is your friend. And then we have Ravi Shankar. Always read and play between the lines. Your true nature is reflected in silence. Music is the infinite space between two souls. Beautiful. Pile 3, off the jump before I get into these energies, when I was gathering the cards per pile, Spirit had a lot to say, meaning like there's a lot of cards that are just flying out really fast. It took me really no time to get the energies for you. So I feel that in comparison to the collective messages that were for pile 1 and 2, your energy is different. You're in a different process of self-awareness when it comes to the temptations and impulses within you. What I'm getting here when it comes to the temptations and impulses, however, are, I'm not sure if it's about discerning characters or character flaws or seeing red flags sooner, if it's honoring your intuition and your spiritual gifts. In other words, you're tempted to not listen to that, or tempted to follow the popular or the trendy, or what. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. There's a sense of that. I feel like this is really particularly talking to you about leadership in some way. You know how to play between the light and shadow very well, and you know how to use those energies really well. But they are also saying that it's up to you on how you use that energy towards yourself. Music, like spiritual music, might be very significant, like the sitar in particular, sound healing, frequency tuning fork type of sounds is what I'm getting, like vibration, whatever the case is. There's something about that could be really helpful in combating those thoughts or those energies in moments. I really am feeling like a sense of trying to discern better characters. There's a feeling of possibly in your past being duped by the bad boy or the over spiritual, you know? Yeah, there's a sense of following in some way. As an example, just so that I can sort of help clarify what I'm feeling, there are certain people in relationships that tend to lose their own identity and take on their partners. Meaning, if your partner is uber into like hockey, video games, fashion, and cars, let's give it as example, and your interest prior to them was maybe a little bit of sports, but different sports. You like fashion, but it's a very particular type of fashion, and that's the only two things that you might have really in common. But now you're like fully a diehard, whatever their sports team is, you're their fan now. Not that that's a bad thing, I'm just saying that you start to embody or take on the identities of the people you're around or the partners that you're with, and you lose some of yourself, or that has been a part of your character is what I'm getting. And I feel that this temptation and this impulse to do that is to follow in some way is what they're addressing. Why I said it's about leadership within self, addressing that character within, knowing that you can play in both shadow and light. You can play in anything is what I'm saying. Like you're a really great shapeshifter, kind of like a chameleon. But that chameleon energy is lacking the foundation of awareness of who you want to be. You know, like, because again, regardless of how we were brought up or how we were raised and whatever the case is, we always have that opportunity to change and our perspective, our way of being, our look even, to fit into a particular whatever the case is. But right now it's really, really feeling like who and what are you? You know, who do you want to be? What do you want to do? How do you want to play within these energies? Do you want to use it to manipulate or to help? And or is your manipulation for the help? Like how it's just how we're using it. That's really the best way I can sum up this energy first. Okay, let's see what the tea leaf cards have to add to this. Over Johnny Cash, you have fair man. Dealings or relationship with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair. Oh, excuse me. Let's pause here. I didn't roll over the middle one. I apologize. The forest. Ooh, this gave me another energy now. So what I'm feeling here with the forest added into this energy is a need or a want for you to go into the cave. One, meaning to go within. Two, can you see the trees from the forest? Are you so caught up or so bombarded or overwhelmed by the external that we're not seeing how we're actually moving within this energy, which is what I was picking up on anyway. So that temptation either to seclude and run away, that can be a thing, or the temptation or the impulse to just follow blindly. Okay, so as I said, dealings a relationship with a fair, blonde, or gray-haired man. Then we have Turkey. Someone is behaving stupidly. Over the forest. I'm sorry to laugh, but I'm sorry to laugh, but Spirit is freaking fucking funny to me, man. I'm sorry. Like, they're jokes. Because they're talking, I love you, okay, 𝒃𝓃, I love you, but they're talking about you. You're behaving stupidly like this. These actions are not smart for you because you're smarter than this is what they're saying. You can tell the trees from the forest. You can tell the charlatans from the real. Like you can, but you're choosing to play with both. And I think that you enjoy the play, and that's why I'm talking about the shadow and light side. How are you using that manipulative energy? Are you using it in a positive way? Are you using it creating mischief? You know, what is that? Interesting. And then over Ravi, you have Rooster. Look at this, an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. I really think it's you, my friend. I don't necessarily think that you might be boastful, but I definitely feel like you have your moments of arrogance. You know, and when you hit that point of the turkey energy, it becomes you shouldn't cross me because you can't budge me when I'm in this frame of mind. They're also bringing me to this fair man as in an outdated way of thinking, an old patriarchal system. They just brought that in too. So that might have an emphasis on some of the temptations or where your impulses or perceived limitations might be stemming from. Can be the patriarch, excuse me, in your household too. And that might be the arrogant, boastful person also. That pushes you into that forest energy where you can't trust yourself, or you feel like you can't trust yourself based on past energies or something like that. Interesting. If the camera cuts out, I apologize because I'm probably not paying attention to it much, but I'll hopefully catch it and change the battery when necessary. Let's see what this process is going to be for you, my collective, or how it might play out. We have the Priestess of the East. The Priestess of the East deals with all matters of the mind and movement, brings clarity and inspiration for new beginnings and tasks that you want to bring into being. So this spiritual practice, like we talked about, this new beginning, this retrieval of self, the retrieval of the understanding, right, of knowing why we do things, why our impulses lead us into certain actions, and how we use those energies once the action has, whatever the effect the action has created, you know? So this is about the mind. It's about changing that mental process, or how you use the mind or used words or communication when it comes to people, your external environment. We have the Six of Swords, Science. Then we have Five of Swords, Defeat. Ace of Swords, Cognition. Son of Swords, Fairness, which is the Page of Swords. Mother of Swords, Mystery, Queen of Swords. So your process seems to be about moving away from your own formulas of your mind, your own thought process, your own way of thinking. They're asking you to move beyond that and clear that up with a much more expanded sense of awareness. And that particular movement is going to feel like a defeat, like you lost somehow, like you don't know how to move, like you don't know how to talk or use the information. You might be coming up against a lot of misunderstandings or tonal indifferences, you know, like your tone might be really affecting people or triggering people in a certain way. Not all the cards, but some of these cards have hexagrams, and these two have a hexagram on them. So I'm going to give you that extra message from the hexagram for each card. So for the Six of Swords, it talks about inner truth. You need to seek out an older and wiser person for advice. Maybe this has to do with this fair-haired or gray-haired man. That can be that older or wiser person. I was not feeling that at the beginning, but it's very possible. Become open to the suggestions of more experienced people. Those who have more skills than you can assist you. Stick to what is real. Don't get caught up in fantasy. Consider how your actions will affect the people with whom you are dealing. Seek the truth in all things. Fantasy and dreams will not serve you. Wake up. Your inner voice is telling you the answer. That's all about that mental. Your inner voice is telling you that answer. With that Aquarian energy, the letter F might be significant also for you. The Five of Swords hexagram talks about oppression. Your emotional state is running full force. Every problem becomes exaggerated in your mind's eye. Again, moving away from these thoughts, right? All about this Priestess of the East. You'll feel as though nothing will ever get better again. Avoid extreme actions at this time. You must wait and try to see the silver lining. You won't believe it, but everything is working in your favor. Help arrives at the last possible second. Wow. Wow. Yeah, so you have the letter E here also. So, and Venus. So Aquarius and Venus, the expansion of love in a different way of looking at it, very unconventional, unorthodox in a sense. And same with your mind. Your mind is asking you to really pause, excuse me, with your mental game. Because that needs to get, there's a defeat here that needs to be honored. Meaning, like, you have to accept what has been or how you have been for real. Like, if you have been that manipulative energy and it's not been, you know, helpful for you in a way, too mischievous or too disruptive, then you need to acknowledge this and step away from that. If you have been not being able to honor and you're in that follower energy, again, you have to succumb to this belief and understand it so that you can come out of it, that you can understand it. Then, which brings you into this Ace of Swords, this cognition, this recognition of self, the understanding, the clarity of the thought. You know, autumn might be very significant for this transformation. 9 and 10 a.m. or p.m. might be significant also. The letter A is also here. So again, this transition of movement, it's about time, and I do feel like it's probably autumn. I'm not even kidding, because they're the only aces in this deck are the only ones that actually have a clock and like a season. So this is, and it's right in the center. So it feels like there's going to be something very significant that either completes, or it feels like a completion, if I'm honest. Like from where you're starting or listening to this reading right now, this is going to be your process, is what I'm getting at. By the time that we get to, let's say, the melting of the snow or the melting of your winter season, whenever you're going into fall, is where this recognition or this cognition, this understanding, I fully feel comes into bloom, which leads you into this beautiful Sun of Swords. Yeah, and this fairness. So there's this, you might have brown eyes also, sorry guys. There's a fairness that comes in within the self. And that fairness can also feel a little bit like this defeat energy. It's like, it's karma balancing. That's what I really feel like. A definite karma balancing of within self and within whomever your energies may have affected in whatever way, and whatever karma that is owed to you. And there's a sense of not rushing this process though, you know? And there might be a resistance to acknowledgement of that, of how you've actually hurt other people, and you may not be able to hear if they do communicate it to you openly yet. And that's the reason why I feel like autumn it's like it needs some time. But once this is understood, integrated fully, you will find that mystery within self, within you will find or uncover the mystery within what has been happening. With this clarity of thought, you have a lot of swords energy here, a lot of air energy in particular, you know? So, and then you have the letter K. So what does this spell? F-E-A-K, feek. Feek. I'm feeling freak. That's what I was feeling at first. I was feeling freakiness. Like you might be kind of freaky, you know, or you might be attracted to the quote unquote freaks. It doesn't really matter, but there's something about the F-E-A-K that is probably very significant. Use those letters as they fit. So the swords in these cards here, if you can see them here, they only have them in the court cards. The swords down means no, up and down means maybe, excuse me. So why I said that you might be resisting that is the reason why I said that energy here. And the mystery of the what is to be, like who you are to be, is still yet to be uncovered and discovered, but you are approaching that mystery within self. There's a blossoming of you, and there's an understanding of the person you were before and the why you chose to be that way. Where does that lead? Woo! The jewel in the lotus. That is you, my beautiful friend. You are that jewel in the lotus, ready to emerge reborn out of the gunk, out of the mud, out of the old version of you. At this point, you will not need to try so hard. You'll let your heart speak and trust when the time is right to move, to do whatever the case is. What you seek will find you when your intention remains pure. And this is what I kept coming back to, that manipulation energy. So release to gain this abundance and gain this balance back in your life and within self. It's beautiful. Difficult, but beautiful. It's a hard, like, self lesson, and it's like a matter of really reflecting on who you've been to people and to yourself. Let's see what to stay mindful of. Two of Earth in the reverse. To stay balanced, to stay grounded, to remember the duality within, to nurture the self, to not give one thing more energy than the other. It's really about creating that equilibrium within the self. That's what they want you to be mindful of. Maybe it's you need to ground, meditate, keep yourself balanced. Maybe you need to separate from energies or just be around one particular energy. You use your discernment there. Then we have sense of humor to be mindful of. Yes, make sure that you laugh. That might be a helpful remedy if you feel off balance. Find something that lights you up. And tall. I'm getting tall in the sense of like a tall order of laughter. That's what they're giving it to me in. Like big, heavy energies, like somebody that's gonna make you guttural laugh. That's the energy that I'm getting. This is generally speaking what this has been happening. It's like one energy is you and what they're telling you to do. So I'm feeling like this is probably your energy, the tall energy, and they're asking you to stay grounded when you get maybe off balance or your equilibrium feels out of kilter or off kilter. Find that sense of humor in what's happening and moving through this process. If and when you falter, what should you be mindful of? Ooh, death and rebirth. Perfect. Absolutely. The emergence of you, knowing that this process is not an easy process, knowing that there is going to be very heavy, shadowy phases, knowing that this is about this transformation. Talk about that chameleon type of energy, that shedding of skin, that rebirth, the 3 cycles, past, present, and future, integrating that into this new being, this new incarnation of yourself, quite literally. And that's you emerging, the jewel in that lotus, that beautiful golden egg. Multilingual. I'm hearing like don't limit yourself. That's also what I'm hearing. And find other resources or other people, other types of people, other walks of life for you to engage with or entertain. And they talked about wise counsel, right? Maybe that's where that wise counsel is coming from. It's from a different ethnicity, background, cultural, spiritual upbringing, whatever the case is. Explore that. And then LGBTQT. And this here is about, for me in particular with this reading, is about the freedom of expression. The freedom of who you are, the death and rebirth of the old version into the new. This rainbow light energy also. The merging of the masculine and feminine within. And you create whatever that version is in the end. But regardless, there's an ask of you to, expand out of the environment that you may have been in for you to gain a different perspective, a different outlook on life. It's like, as a shitty example, it's like a rocker who has never been to like a hip hop jam. Not that there's anything wrong with you don't need to like it, I'm just giving you as an example. But as a person, for me, as an artist who creates from music and creates from sound, if I don't understand a little bit of what that genre of music is, because not everybody's gonna have my taste, but there's beauty in all of it. So it doesn't mean I have to go to concerts, but if I can find an appreciation for it, it's gonna expand my knowledge and my experience. It's gonna expand the way that I choose to move or how I hear music. You get me? So it's that kind of energy is what I'm getting when it comes to this LGBTQ and this multilingual. It's like find other energies that are not your norm, regardless of what that may be, period. Love it. Let's see what your advice is. I forgive myself for trying to be for others that which I first need to be for myself. Are you seeing this? What you need to be for yourself. And that's what you're going through in this process here. I choose to believe that when I allow myself to step away and prioritize my needs, I create the opportunity for others to discover ways to fulfill their own unique needs as well. Yeah, be you. No follow. No follow. Okay, let's see your help. It says 54, the marrying maiden. Interesting. Marrying maiden supports the first wife of Chinese noblemen. You are in a supporting role. You are not yet ready to exert influence. Do not set intentions or make plans. Feel your way, adapt, and find your place without originating any action or having an agenda of your own. This is back to this manipulation thing again. I think this is what they're talking about. And however this is, meaning like you might, for example, it can play in any way. You might feel or be actually the smartest person in the room. And for you to use that to get what you want or to leave early, you'll do something. Not that it's necessarily overtly bad, but they're saying, how are you actually using your actual power and your strengths? Are you really doing it to benefit yourself, or are you just entertaining and creating mischief? This is really what I'm getting. I'm sorry, I love you. This is just what I'm getting. How can you grow into this situation? What does it mean to you to come in second? How sustainable is this? Woo! Again, that maybe that's what that is, meaning that you've always felt like you come in second, so you've had to, or felt like you had to put on this persona or this role so that you don't feel that again. Ooh, that's a whole other extra layer there, my loves. And I can go into like an extra half an hour just on this, but because I talk too much, so I'm just gonna leave it there. What's your guidance from the dragons, my lovelies? Oh, the divine feminine. Perfect. Receptivity. Yeah, there is a lot of masculine energy here. I would definitely say that. Number 32, the divine feminine energy is calling out to you today, my beautiful collective, for your guidance. What does she want to tell you? The divine feminine says, although the divine feminine is the smallest of the dragons, she carries an immense power, and this is her message to you. It matters not how small you may feel on the inside. In truth, you are more powerful than you could ever begin to imagine. This power is deep within you, and you know intuitively what is required of you. It is time to stop playing small and claim your place within the circle of light so that you shine. Others are drawn to you like the sunrise on summer solstice morning, so own it. It's yours. Own it without fear or ego, but with acceptance and grace. She allows us for the first time to acknowledge and touch a feeling of personal power. For she encourages deep trust in the divine, which settles itself comfortably in our being. You are trying to master this power that you have, this tactic or this manipulation energy that you have. And again, I don't think that is innately bad. I just feel like you've been learning how to use it, and sometimes it may have put you in scenarios that was not as favorable for karmic energies. Let's put it that way. Okay, my beautiful collective, your final and closing messages for you to see where this may lead to, help along the way, what spirit actually still wants to address to you or just to say to you. Family of Light, number 17. I'm going to read a passage from the book to close off your messages. It says, the limits that much of humanity place upon their love, that they will love their own family, country, religion, or community better than they love those on the outside, do not restrain your heart. You are capable of loving humanity, of loving all creation on earth. As an extended spiritual family, you will love all as your own. You are meant to belong to a broader family of light. And I think this might be a part of the reason why you're wanting to connect in the way that you do, in this sort of like followy type of energy. But it's about learning this particular gift that you have. This way of manipulating energies or surroundings, people, thoughts, and things, but using it now for your benefit, to love all things and to bring it into one. There is something about this gift that you are still learning. It feels like the teenage years of this particular gift. That's the best way I can put it. If you can remember going back to when you were a teen and you were discovering what your own personal boundaries were, right? If you drink or drank ever in your life, if you had your first drink, you're fine, and then you're like, oh, this is okay, and then you feel great, and then you test it the next time. Can I drink more than this, or can I try something else? You know, there's that experimental phase, in other words, of this particular gift. And sometimes we do things that are not necessarily beneficial for us, but without us doing it, we wouldn't know. So that's why I'm saying it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like, how are we using this energy, this gift, this power that I have? And have I used it always in the most benevolent way possible? Or has it been undertoned by ego or selfish means? This family of light wants to enter you or initiate you into a bigger family. That's what they want. They want more for you. And you have more to share and give, and people are drawn to you. That magnetic attraction and pull is a gift, right? So whatever this is, maybe you have been a little bit egocentric or boastful or a little too not as smart in some of the actions, you know, that you have taken, but that's okay, right? Mistakes are lessons learned, and you've understood that, or you will regardless. But it's really about the mind and how you use it. You have a really fast, smart, quick-witted mind, very quick, you know? And so not many people can keep up is what I'm feeling. And so that's part of the reason why you're like, well, they can't get it, I'm just gonna play. You know, I'm gonna play with them until they understand it, and then like they get it like a week later and you're already passed on to the next, you know? Like it's that kind of energy. I hope this is making sense. Either way, my collective, I hope this was helpful and it gave you the messages that were useful for you in this next process. I'm sending you the most amount of love. I'm sorry if there was any triggers. Keep watering your lives. Let me know if this resonated in any way. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'd much appreciate it. Until next time, keep watering your lives. Ciao.